I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Apple Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Committee for May the 1st, 2025. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone present who is willing and able to please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Before we get started with our formal meeting tonight, I do need to take a minute and offer an apology. And this goes back to our March meeting, which our March meeting was the first meeting that we had a new member that joined us. And a certain committee chairman forgot to acknowledge that. So I extend my apology to the committee and to the new member, and we are going to take care of that right now. So on behalf of the Apple Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Committee, I would like to extend a welcome and an introduction to our new member, Jessica Merchant.
Hi, thank you for
And what we usually do with new members is we have them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about them if they'd like. And so you may do whatever you like, but the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Jessica Merchant. I have lived in Apple Valley for 4 years now. And my husband and I have 3 young kids. We love everything about all the Apple Valley parks and trails and outdoors and sports, and we hope to represent you well.
Thank you. And again, I do apologize for that. And welcome to the committee, and we're looking forward to working with you going forward. So,
Thanks. Excited to be here.
all right. First thing for us to do a meeting, we need an agenda for this evening. And Kayla has put that together and given each of us a copy. My question to the members are there any changes or additions to the proposed agenda for tonight's meeting that you'd like to see made? Nothing? Eric?
No changes from staff perspective.
Everyone's good. So I would look for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion from Craig.
I'll second.
A second from Jess. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries unanimously, and we now have an agenda. All right, using that agenda, the first thing is the public meeting open time for the public to address this committee. At each of our meetings, we set aside a certain amount of time for the public to come and talk to us if they'd like, with suggestions, hopefully, criticisms, whatever. Looking out at the empty seats, I don't think we're going to have anyone tonight speaking with us. Would like to encourage anyone that might be listening to please come to one of our meetings if you have anything that you'd like to talk to us about. We are always looking for ideas, and we meet the first Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Sharp, and we are in the Municipal Center, which is the City Hall. And if you do come, please check the city's website just to make sure we're having a formal meeting that night. But we would love to hear from you, and so we will move on from there. Next item is the minutes from the March 2025 minutes from the previous meeting for approval. Kayla has gone through and put that together, and I assume everyone has had a copy and has read it. Are there any changes that you think need to be made in those minutes as printed? Nothing? Then I would look for a motion to approve those minutes from the March 2025 meeting.
I'd motion that we approve the minutes for the March meeting, and just say again my thanks to the city crew for a great meeting and a lot of information.
Okay, I have a motion from Jess,
Second.
second from Craig. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? And that passes unanimously. Next up is the agenda items. And first on the agenda items is number A, the Kelly Park project update. And I believe that's Mr. Carlson.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, want to give you and those listening at home an update on Kelly Park. And this is one of the signature projects that we've been working on as part of the 2023 Parks Bond referendum. And so at this point, we're planning to start construction on this project in July of this year. We will start construction kind of in the western portion of the park in July, so that we do not interfere with the Friday night Music in Kelly Park concert series. Once that concert series is over at the end of August, then we will, the entire park will be under construction. We expect to finish the project in the spring of '26 and hopefully open it to use again for the concerts and other activities in June of '26. It's looking as though the project is going to be about $11.7 million project. It's going to include a new playground, a new performance stage, a new splash pad, additional on-site parking. We're planning to do solar on top of the roofs of the new restroom facility and the new stage. And then the new stage will also have approximately 25 by 15 foot video screen that we'll be able to use for movies in the park and for other events that might get hosted in the park. We've been working closely with the Apple Valley Arts Foundation on the design of the park, especially as it relates to the stage and whatnot. And some of the concepts that we had developed earlier included concepts related to a small fenced-in dog run area and some basketball courts. And at this point, those are not being recommended based on some of the budgetary issues that we're facing with the park's development. So this is what Kelly Park looks like today, if you will. You can see that the existing stage is sitting in this location. We've got a small paved parking lot here. Here's the splash pad. Here's the playground equipment. Here's a two-stall restroom facility. And then there's some picnic tables and benches scattered around the park. The clock tower is right here. And then this is the proposed site plan for the park. Once it's developed, we've got additional on-site parking here. We've got a new playground here. We've got a splash pad, a new restroom facility to go from the two restrooms to 3. This restroom facility will have a large roof overhang so that there'll be picnic tables underneath it to get people out of the sun, out of the rain if it happens to be raining. There is a picnic shelter on the south side of the splash pad. This is the splash pad here in the middle. Again, the playground. And we've got the stage with the seating area for the stage, which will have a gentle slope upwards, if you will, from the stage to the back of about 3%. So it'll be very gradual, but there will be the back of this oval is about 7 feet taller or higher in elevation than the concrete slab is that's in front of the stage. This is kind of an image of what it will look like if you were standing in the middle of that oval looking at the stage. You can see the screen on the right-hand side there, and you can see the stage itself. We're planning to have some lighting associated with the stage and some speakers out in the park, so that when we do movies in the park, that people there attending will be able to hear the movie, if you will, without having us to blast the sound from the stage itself. This is an image of the stage kind of in the evening, if you will. And then this is just a floor plan of the stage. And so the rooms here on the right, referred to as a green room, or the room that the band uses to get ready and or cool down in during their performance. We got a restroom, we've got a storage room, we've got an electrical room and a mechanical room. This is the restroom facility. Again, three different restrooms here. The large roof overhang to create some shade and some get out of the weather on both sides of it, with picnic tables underneath it. And this is just a different view or different image of that. And here's what the floor plan looks like for that. So questions that Parks Committee members may have about what we're planning for at Kelly Park. I will say that so the council is scheduled to approve the guaranteed maximum price amendment to the contract we have with Kraus Anderson at the next council meeting, which is a week from tonight, Thursday, May 8th. May 8th. Yep. Questions?
So Eric, there's quite a bit of grass area in the park. Is that all going to be seeded for grass, or is some of it going to be sodded, or?
We haven't, I'm not sure what's being seeded and what's being sodded, but a little bit of both. Okay. The whole thing is being irrigated. I didn't highlight it very well, but as a part of the new splash pad, there will be an underground vault that collects the water from the splash pad. That water will be reused to irrigate the park. And so that's one way we're trying to do a better job of being environmentally sensitive. So the entire park will be irrigated. We'll have a great opportunity to be able to grow healthy turf in the park.
Okay.
I can't go backwards. Put the site plan up, please. Thanks. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Members? Nothing? I guess we're good.
Okay, thanks.
So we're done with Kelly Park. Next is the 2025 Neighborhood Park Project Plan Update.
All right, again, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, just kind of a brief overview of the neighborhood park plan. As you recall, we spent a lot of 2024 meeting in neighborhood parks, talking to people, reading survey and feedback information to determine what we're going to do in our neighborhood parks. And ultimately, the Parks Committee recommended to the City Council the adoption of this neighborhood park plan, which the council did adopt at the end of December. So we have been using that document to move our park plans our park improvement plans forward within our neighborhood parks. So based on that plan, we've put together a list of parks that will be improved in each of the years as outlined on the slide that's up on the screen right now. I will highlight that there are 3 parks on the 25 list, that being Apple Valley East, Belmont, and Apple Valley East, Belmont, and Delaney are three parks that we're going to delay till 2026. And the reason for that delay is that with all of the other projects we have going on, it boils down to a workload issue for us internally. And so we're planning to delay those 3 parks until 2026, which the list is long in 2026 as well. So there might be some changes there as well. But we're doing the best we can to deliver park improvements to folks as quickly as we can, but we also need to be able to do it responsibly and make sure that we're doing a good job at that. So We've been working with a consulting firm, HKGI, on the development of these plans. We knew that, and one of our goals is to make sure that as we make these improvements that we're addressing any ADA issues that might be out there in our park system. We're finding that to be a little bit more substantial than what we had originally thought, but we are wanting to make sure that we address ADA issues as we work through all of these park plans in our neighborhood parks and all of our other projects as well. Like we have been doing with the park amenity plan process in '24, we are trying to do a good job of getting feedback from the community. And so over the last 30 days, residents have had an opportunity to go to our website, look at what we're specifically planning to do in the parks that we're planning to make improvements in 2025, and give us some feedback. We're using that feedback to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And as we discussed earlier at the informal meeting, we heard some feedback that suggests we need to make some small tweaks to what we're planning, and specifically that was at Greenleaf North, where we had gotten feedback earlier that suggested we were going to not have a basketball court there. Well, the feedback we got at this point was that maybe we should keep it, so we had the discussion that we'll be keeping that. So just a couple small tweaks to make sure that we're responding to what the community is telling us. We're also working with our engineering department on some stormwater needs that we have in our city in the southwest part of town, and that would happen in Dutchess, Pennock, and Greening Park, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. So the parks with the squares around them are the parks that we're planning to make improvements in 2025. Not on this list is the playground in the southeast corner, what we refer to as Cobblestone Southeast. So at Carrollwood, it'll be getting a new playground based on feedback we received from folks through the survey process. It's going to be the Little Tykes playground that we gave people the opportunity to choose 2 different choices. More people chose the Little Tykes playground versus the other one. We gave people the opportunity to tell us what kind of color scheme that they wanted. People are telling us they want us to use natural colors at Carrollwood Park. Then we're also going to be doing some ADA trail improvements within this park. At Cedar Isle, we'll be getting a new playground. Again, folks chose the Little Tykes version of that of the options that they had. They selected natural colors. We'll be building a 60 by 60 basketball court with 2 hoops, and be making ADA trail improvements in Cedar Isle Park. In Chaparral Park, the playground that was selected was Game Time. Again, natural colors and ADA trail improvements at Chaparral Park. Greenleaf North Park, the new playground manufactured by Burke. That's what was chosen. Natural colors. Resurfaced courts. The courts are not old enough to replace, so we're resurfacing them so they'll look new, but they won't be brand new, if you will. There's still life left in them. So that includes the 2 tennis courts. Will be striped for tennis and pickleball, and then we will be keeping the basketball, the 1 hoop basketball court that's there now, and then some ADA trail improvements. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be replacing the playground equipment at Cobblestone Southeast. The one that was chosen there was Flagship, and folks chose the neon colors for that park. And then there is a trail that runs through that piece of park property, and that trail is being replaced as a part of the Cobblestone Trail project that's happening. That'll be beginning here sometime in May. And then we've got the Apple Ponds, where we won't be replacing the playground until 2034 because it's not old enough to be replaced yet, but we are addressing some other issues in the park. We will be relocating the basketball court from its current location to the existing sand volleyball court and removing the sand volleyball court. The new basketball court will be approximately 60 by 60 with a hoop on each end. We'll be making some ADA trail improvements, and then some backstop improvements to meet ADA.
Eric, can you just quickly point out where the basketball court is today and where it's going?
So the basketball court today is right here. This is the playground. This is the backstop for the ball field. The current basketball court is right here, and it's being moved kind of into the outfield of the baseball, softball field to where the sand volleyball court is, which is right here. But this distance is much further than that because these are 2 just separate sections of the park, if you will. And I don't have a drawing to show you the actual dimensions. Apologize for that.
Thank you.
Yep. And then these 3 parks were scheduled for 25, but we're delaying them till 26. We did get feedback from folks with regards to what we're planning to do and the playground selections as far as the designs and the color schemes that folks wanted. And you can see at Belmont, they chose the game time version. Natural Colors at Delaney, they chose the St. Croix Rec version using neon colors. And then at Apple Valley East, it was the Burke option using neon colors. And in most of these, we're replacing the tennis courts with a tennis court, a pickleball court, and a basketball court. And there'll be ADA improvements on the trails, and there'll be backstop improvements to meet ADA, et cetera. But again, all of that will happen in '26. We'll likely order the playground equipment, though, in '25. Again, I mentioned stormwater improvements at 3 parks in the southwest part of town, Dutchess, Greening, and Pennock. This is Pennock Park. When we come in here and our engineering staff does the stormwater improvements, it's that green area that you see on the map. This is where the existing tennis courts are. In the future, that will be 1 tennis court, a pickleball court, and a basketball court. The playground will get relocated to this location, which is the current basketball location, because the existing playground equipment is right here. It'll be basically underwater when it rains a lot, but within the stormwater treatment area. Here we've got Greening Park, and we've got the ball field. We've got the existing basketball court, the existing playground, and so the stormwater treatment will be kind of in the outfield, if you will, of the existing baseball, softball field, but far enough from that field that it won't change who and how that baseball field, softball field gets utilized. And then this is Green. Am I Greening? Dutchess, I'm sorry. So this is Dutchess. Currently, the playground is here underneath where the stormwater will go. So the basketball court is here. It'll get moved slightly. The playground equipment will go here. The baseball, softball field will stay in the same location. Depending on how successful engineering is at getting some state grant funding, there might be an underground stormwater chamber that gets installed in this park, then covered back up, but we'll still be able to use the green space on top of it for the baseball field, baseball, softball field. But this just shows where it might be located, should we be successful in getting some grant dollars to help fund that project. Any questions on what we're planning to do in the neighborhood parks?
So the neighborhood parks that we're doing this year, when do we expect to start actual construction work, and how long do we expect the parks will be closed, just kind of on average?
Sure. So we will be going to the city council for authorization to go to bid here at the end of May. And then we will be awarding bids in August, or excuse me, July or August? I'm sorry? July. In July, and so contractors will get started in August, and I would expect it'll take the better part of the fall to get through those projects and get things wrapped up, hopefully before snow flies in November, December, whenever it decides to snow this year.
Okay, thank you.
Eric, how many different playground manufacturers are we using for all the different playgrounds?
This year, I believe it's 4 different playground manufacturers: Burke, Landscape Structures, St. Croix Recreation, and Northland Rec or Little Tykes. So 4 different ones in the five or six parks that we're doing this summer.
How do you choose those for each park, or what was your criteria? Or is pricing, did you go to say we want this in a park? Did all 4 of them give pricing on each park, or how did you do that?
So we told vendors how much we were willing to spend on playground equipment, and they were able to show us what they could do for that in all of the different parks. And so then we selected 2 different versions and then shared that with neighborhoods, if you will. And then they picked which one they liked the best, if you will.
Okay, so
So
pricing did have a
pricing, and then, but each vendor approaches it a little bit differently. You know, they have different swings, they have different slides, they have different climbers, and none of them said, you know, Little Tykes, as an example, didn't say, well, here's our neighborhood playground. You can do this in all 5 parks. They had a different plan for each single park, if you will.
Okay,
Does that answer your question?
it does. Thank you.
Okay.
So And some of the comments that you've shared with us, a lot of people had feedback on the surface underlying the playground. I understand that there's some ADA requirements with surface selection. Can you explain that just so people understand why we're going with the surfaces that we do under the playgrounds?
Yep. Great question. Thanks for bringing it up and helping clarify. So as a part of the Parks Amenity Plan, we, at least from my perspective, clearly indicated to folks that we would be switching from what today is basically a sand-based system to what, when we replace this all, will be an engineered wood fiber system. And the main reason we're doing that is because engineered wood fiber is considered to be ADA accessible. And so because we have to make sure that our new playgrounds are ADA accessible, we're choosing to use engineered wood fibers. We could choose to use poured in place rubber like we are doing at Redwood as an example. The challenge with using poured in place rubber is that it's extremely expensive, way more expensive than we would have had planned to invest in neighborhood parks. So we will have some parks in our system that will be poured in place rubber. So if a family has an individual that happens to be in a wheelchair, that would be the best place for them to go and be able to use the playground equipment. However, in most of our neighborhood parks, we'll be using engineered wood fiber, still considered ADA accessible, not as nice as poured in place rubber, but certainly more budget friendly than poured in place rubber.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Then it comes to item C, Dakota County Parks, Greenways, and Natural System 2050 Vision Plan.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. So Dakota County Parks, obviously they run the parks within the county system, and they have been working on updating their master plan or their 2050 vision plan. They started this a little bit more than a year ago, and they are looking for feedback from folks. So that if you and as an example, Lebanon Hills Park is a Dakota County park. It's not a city of Apple Valley park, although parts of it are in the city of Apple Valley. It's not an Egan park, while parts of it are in the city of Egan. It's a Dakota County park paid for through your taxes, if you will, that you pay into Dakota County. And so they're looking to update their park system plan for all of the parks that they have county-wide. And so I'm just going to very quickly, without going through the details of all the slides, I'm going to very quickly go through their slides. You can find this, anyone could find this presentation on their website. They are hosting some open houses to gather community feedback and input. And so I would encourage you or anybody that's watching to either go to their website and fill out their community feedback tools that they have on their website, or go to one of their open houses and give them some face-to-face feedback if that's what you want to do. And I can't advance the slide, so we'll let Kayla do that for me. So this just an overview, and again, I'm not going to read all of these words on the screen, and I didn't put this together, the county put this together, so I might stumble through some of this a little bit, if you will, so I apologize for that. But from an overview perspective, they started their process back in the spring, fall of 2024, doing research and community engagement. They actually came and met with all of the staff of all of the different cities, major significant cities within the county, to talk about, what are our plans, what are their plans, how can we maybe cooperate or do things together, whatever the case might be. Then over the fall of 24 and the winter of 25, they started to develop a draft of what their framework was going to look like and starting to put a plan together. And now they're kind of showing that draft plan to the public so they can get feedback. What tweaks do they need to make to their plan, much like the tweaks we made to everything that we've been doing as a part of our park system. They're hoping to adopt a plan sometime this summer of 2025. Next slide there, Kate, thanks. So really what they're updating is their 2030 vision, making it relevant for 2050. And you're going to be able to give that to me so I can do it myself. Thank you very much. All right. And they're as the county changes with both population and how it's made up, how that population is made up, they're trying to react to all of those different changes and the different trends that they see happening within their system. So again, they've put together their draft plan. This is what it looks like if you would go to their website. This is what you'll see. and they have different sections within their plan. They have some key findings that they've outlined from the analysis and the community input that they've taken so far. And they've put together this vision framework that includes core values, goals, mission, and vision. Their vision is they want to protect the natural portions of their park system. They want to make sure that their plan reflects what the community is saying, and they want to be able to connect all of that together, whether that be through physical improvements like trails and whatnot, or the programs that they offer, etc. They have a bunch of core values, and I'm not going to read these. And then they have their vision framework with a bunch of different goals. And they're hoping that the plan can just provide them with some system-wide guidance on how they're going to deal with land conservation, how they're going to deal with park and greenway development. Are there any new parks that they want to have or need to have, or any greenway areas that they want to have or need to have? And so these are just areas within the county that they're looking to potentially have those greenways or their new parks and make connections. I mean, as people that use the park system, I think you recognize that people really love to have trail loops, and so we do it on a small scale. If we're trying to do it on a small scale, they're trying to do it on a little bit of a larger scale. This shows where they might try to add some park land within their systems. Nothing really impacting Apple Valley per se. Depending on your perspective, that's either good or not so good. And then from a greenway perspective, this is what they're hoping to do. You can see Apple Valley there kind of relatively in the center of the screen, and you can see that pinkish line running through there. Well, that's the North Creek Regional Greenway. And so we've obviously been a partner with Dakota County on that for a number of years, and we're making some significant progress on that. We've got plans to help further that process through the Johnny Cake Ridge Park West Park. You've seen kind of the draft plans for going through that part of the park. There's plans to put an underpass underneath County Road 42. Last year, the county constructed parts of the North Creek Regional Greenway on the south side of Cobblestone Lake through Quarry Park. They're coming up through all of the water treatment areas within the development there by Byerly's, etc. So again, we're working in concert with Dakota County to make that happen. And then over time they will try to implement what their vision is and use policy guidelines and budgeting to be able to make it happen. So from their perspective, next steps is they'll need to create some operational plans, some natural resource management plans. They're going to want to update their visitor guide plan and their Greenway guidebook. And then I mentioned earlier that there's an opportunity for people to participate in some open houses. They've got online, people can go to their website, search Vision Plan. There's a community open house Thursday, May 8th from 5:30 to 7 at Lebanon Hills Regional Park at the Visitor Center. So if you want to go in person, you can do that. And we would encourage anyone that might be listening at home to do that. They're hoping to update the plan in June, get a final version of it ready in July for its adoption, and then start updating their operational plans that are associated with their vision plan in 25 and 26. And I'm pretty sure that's the last slide, so I'm not going to click again. Any questions on that at all?
I do not believe so.
Okay. That's all I have then from a presentation perspective.
All right. Then we're down to number 6, committee staff discussion items. What are we doing with committee staff?
Yeah, we don't have anything tonight for this part of the agenda unless the committee members have questions they want us to address.
Okay. Any questions? Nothing? All right, we will move on. Input from committee members on next agenda. We've got a couple things listed on here. I think that first one was from you, wasn't it, Jess?
I don't know, I think it was more the youth athletics, but I'm happy to see them both.
Update, not yet, no, I'm sorry, the second one. Update on the city's relationship with local youth athletic association.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you just looking for an update or?
Yeah, I think usually it's part of the annual review, and well, I know you got a lot going on, so I was just catching up on that.
Yep, so we've got these two items for future meetings, the update on joint powers agreements and just kind of an update on youth athletics. And as we get a little bit more time, we'll put together some information and bring it to the committee as part of one of our meetings here in the future.
Okay.
And if there's anything else you want us to add to the list, please feel free to do so.
Eric, was there any interest in sharing what we learned at the, well, not at, but from LSI's playground stuff?
Is there anything you want to share with the group based on that, or are you thinking
Well, the big takeaway that I thought was really interesting was they described a plan for how they target what specific things they put in different community playgrounds. So they would get input from the schools, they would get input on like let's say, these 3 elementary schools have mostly most of their special ed programs are for autistic children, or maybe most of the children who are physically disabled are in the programs at these 2 elementary schools, and then trying to be more strategic. That assumes that the children that go to those schools live there, which may or may not be true, but they had a bunch of guidelines for how they work through that. And I don't know, at this point, if something like that is even feasible, but it seems like it would be a good time to do something like that since we're doing the playgrounds now. Their big thing was thinking about like which specific things you're trying to target in which area, like that would be most beneficial for different groups of kids.
Okay.
I've learned a lot about ADA, and I've learned a lot about the ADA discussions as part of these projects, and so I don't know if it's worth a point, but I'd welcome anybody that's, advised us or not to give us a perspective on how well we're doing and how we're trending with ADA compliance. We're just in the informal meeting, we're having a great discussion, and so I just wonder if that's an interest point for the community too.
Okay.
One thing that I wouldn't mind discussing at some point, I believe maybe it was this past weekend or the weekend before, I think the Apple Valley Eco Advocates helped with a planting, I think, at Wildwood Park in conjunction with the city, which I think is really cool. Something that kind of crossed my mind, I saw it go by on the Dakota County Parks presentation, is volunteer opportunities and kind of getting a better understanding of when and where people are able to help, or how we can create opportunities for people to help, because my daughter loves doing that sort of thing, and being able to go to a park where she helped plant a tree or whatever, I think would be cool. And I think that there are probably others in the city that would think similarly. So if there's any way that we can get kind of an overview, or just as things are going, if we can look for opportunities to create volunteer events like that, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Okay.
It's always buckthorn to pull.
Always buckthorn to pull.
I had just one thing that I was thinking about. Redwood Park, obviously we've got the master plan and we're going to be redoing that park completely. And there is a space on there for a sign, a monument sign for welcome type sign. And I know that's not Park and Rec, that's the city that would be doing that. Has there been any discussion with that as far as where that might be at?
So, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, so what you're referring to is that welcome to Apple Valley sign.
Right.
As opposed to a park ID monument sign.
Exactly.
So just so that we're all on the same page.
Yep.
And so as part of the planning process, we have kind of held out a space, if you will, in the northwest corner of the park south of County Road 42. So that's, what's that street? Elm? So Elm and 42, so the,
Redwood.
or Redwood. So the southeast corner of the Redwood County Road 42 intersection, we've held out a space for a future welcome to Apple Valley sign. I know internally, there's been some conversations about what might that look like, how might it get funded, what other locations in town might a sign like that be appropriate, and or what are the challenges with that with regards to right-of-way and, you know, MnDOT's got rules and the county's got rules, et cetera, about what you can and can't do. So there's been, I'll call it limited conversations. I wouldn't call it extensive conversations at this point about that. And that's about as far as it's gotten at this point in time.
What would be nice is, obviously, when we get the Redwood Park redone, if that sign were to be part of it. And I'm just wondering if this committee would benefit by sending something to city council, urging them maybe to, at least on that sign, start the process as far as how it's going to be financed, what it's going to look like, so that when the Redwood Park itself is done, that sign would also have a chance of being done fairly close.
And that's certainly a prerogative that the Parks Committee can have.
And I'd say maybe we could put that as a future agenda item to discuss further.
Okay?
Anything else from committee members? Nothing?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, as we mentioned in the informal, I want to mention on camera, if you will, a couple opportunities for people to come out and join us as we celebrate some of the stuff that we've been doing. So on Thursday, June 12th at 4:45, we're planning a ribbon cutting ceremony at the Splash Valley Water Park. So we would invite the public to come join us on Thursday, June 12th at 4:45 to help us open up, if you will, the new Splash Valley Water Park. And there'll be some fun events and activities happening that day after we cut the ribbon. And I don't know, Nate, kind of putting you on the spot, but can you maybe highlight some of what we have planned?
So we got a ribbon cutting that'll be there. We'll have some refreshments and beverages. Also from 5 to 6, we'll be opening up the park for free. So bring your towels, bring your swimsuits, bring your eyes, walk around the entire building, see all the changes that were made. But there will be the opportunity to enter that facility for free at that day as a preview.
And then on Thursday, May 22nd at 6:15 p.m., we're planning on a groundbreaking ceremony at the Hayes Youth Athletic Complex. The ceremony will be held on the Westview Elementary property, fairly close to their playground that they have on the south side of the school. So if you're able to attend, or if you're in the public and you're wanting to attend, we'd encourage you to park at the Westview Elementary School parking lot, then walk down to the site, which is, again, just south of the playground. And we're just going to do a very brief groundbreaking ceremony for that project. We expect that the city council will be in attendance. We are planning and hope that the school district personnel and staff and board will be able to be there to celebrate the partnership that we have with the school district to make that project happen. We're also obviously inviting the two youth athletic associations to be there in some form or fashion, and just want to do a quick groundbreaking to celebrate that project.
Okay, very good.
That one will not have any refreshments. That's just a turn the dirt and go to a council meeting.
How about like mini shovels for everyone to turn their own little shovel?
We'll have plenty of shovels, and so we're hoping that the Parks Committee members will be there, because then we'll, give you an opportunity to lift a shovel full of dirt, and we'll take a nice pictures as a part of that process.
All right, very good. Anything else?
Did I miss anything, Nate? All right. Oh, we're good.
We're good? All right, we are down to the adjournment.
I will motion to adjourn.
I have a motion from Craig
I'll second.
and a second from Jess. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Meeting is adjourned.